Hiya. Quick update. Cheers, by the way. Just got back from the pub. We're doing the shed, but it's not the shed as much as the carport and getting rid of the rotten timbers and all of that stuff. So, because we've been busy, I'll blast up a few stills now. Okay, time to show you what I've really been doing. Do you remember all the rotten timber? Well, it's all gone. And the lean-to bit of the carport thing has all been replaced. So from there, that way, much as it's all the same colour, because I reused the timbers that I took off the front. I mean, if you look, you can see that black line up the wall and the paint stain? That's where the carport used to go. So I kept all that stuff that I've removed because I couldn't get the motorhome underneath it, and put proper beams in here and made that line level. You can see the three separate, you can't see one of them, but there's three separate pieces of steel holding that lot together. It's raised the level on the roof, you can see, but there's a slight angle, so the pieces I've infilled it with get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the reason I did that was so that there you go. I mean, obviously it's nice having the big heavy duty timbers and the matching heavy duty timber over there. It's not finished yet. It will hide stuff. All that stuff under there, the white, will get painted out in the big groove that you can see, which actually was for the roof light on a caravan from the previous owner. But that's the last beam that's in its original place. All of this has been moved. I was very pleased with that. The bracket on the top had been welded to take steels, like you can see those over there that support it. There's two of them. I cut one of them off and made a bracket and welded it on myself, and if I say so myself, my welding's getting better. The screws need replacing with bolts, so it matches the bolts in the steel that holds this thing up. And just to give you an idea of the scale, we come up here. So that's I've joined it in the middle over there. I'll show you that from underneath. But the thing's quite solid. This one I can walk on because it's got 2 layers of roofing for insulation. That doesn't, but it weeps. Condensation basically. But yeah, it's a big space. I've got all my bits of bike and all my crap comes up here. Hence, I'm going to permanently have this ladder on the wall. It's going to be hinged and all that sort of stuff. Well, let's see if I can get down here in my piss state without falling down. And all the rivets on this thing keep collapsing. It's an loft access ladder, but it's the right size. And it's got one of these locking things, so I'll be able to lift it up, bolt it to that on a swivel. I just have to replace the top step with that one because that's got the swivel on it. What else have I been doing? Oh yeah, I invented my own little, you see the plugs? It did have some bits of timber stuck in there to screw to, but I didn't like them. So I just got pole from an old windbreak, drilled holes in it, ground the ends off and use those as the braces, and that type of screw just happens to fit So it goes through, pulls the rubber seal and it self-straightens. I was quite pleased with that idea. Cost? Nothing. Yeah. Always like it costing nothing. Done nothing inside. You saw from the pictures, it's now got a floor, but it needs the concrete lintel to be square so I can build the wall up. I'm going to build the walls out of, I've got a bunch of this, which is the old rafters from my old house. Well, not my old house, but from that house. This was a bungalow, and obviously we had it converted, its front and back, and all the joists that came out are kept, which is where these came from. And I've started collecting pallets. This is pallet wood, as is that, as is some of that, and some of that under there. I've not got enough yet, but eventually I'm going to use a router to shape the pallet wood so it overlaps, like waning lap fencing, a bit like that stuff, but horizontal. I scrounged the window, that's the frame, that's the opening section, that's the glass from the non-opening section, that's going about here. So once I've built the walls up and got it all watertight, then that wall goes. I've finished the steels on these, spaced them out, so I've got, that's a heavy duty one, that's a heavy duty one, and the other 1, 2, 3, 4 are all just normal. The outside edges don't need it because they're not suspending ceiling, they're off concrete from each corner, same as that one over there, it's off concrete. So it's coming along. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. Cheers. Peace out, like safe. A little addendum. See that bike over there? Beautiful, isn't she? Yeah, well, I'm going to have to sell her. I need the money for something else. And when the project bike's done, I can't see me ever riding this one in preference to the one I built myself. So, if you're interested, give us a shout. £3.5 grand. Or nearly stuff.